That's it. We are live. We have an extra one today on Sun and Moon. We have our first part one, my story, and Mango has been waiting to come on Sun and Moon, haven't you, Mango?
Yes, I have.
It's just been a little bit awkward, hasn't it, with the time difference with being in Australia. But obviously on the panel we have Mango and Patricia, and Mango's coming on to talk about his story. He lives in Australia, in Brisbane, did you say?
Yep, so I live in Brisbane.
Right.
Um, I'm 21 years old. Um, and I got into Flat Earth, I think it was at the end of 2018. I think it was around November.
Oh,
And
not that long ago then. Not that long ago then.
yeah, not that long ago. Well, I was a Flat Earther, but I wasn't like, I didn't do
Yeah,
the
you've always
research
been a
behind
flat
it.
earther, really.
Yep, I didn't do the research behind it, anything like that. But I was very deep in the Matrix at that point. But anyways, so it all started when I went to this small town, like this small beach town, and it was nighttime, and there was this like pathway that led out into the ocean. I'm not too sure what you call that, but it's like this long path that goes out like past the beach line, and it goes out into the ocean. And so I went to the farthest point, and it was nighttime, and when I looked up at the sky, it was like thousands of stars, like everywhere, just stars everywhere, and like the night sky was pitch black, like it was very like pitch black. It was like very dark, and you could see thousands and thousands of stars everywhere. And I said to myself, I was like, why don't I see this back in Brisbane? Why is it the city night sky is like some dark blue color, and there's like barely any stars in the sky. And then a month later, I went back to that same small town, and guess what happened? Chemtrails. They just sprayed the entire sky with chemtrails, and
Oh
then
no, don't they ever stop? Like they have been quite good this last like few weeks. There hasn't been too many, but we just had normal fluffy clouds. But when they chemtrail, oh,
yeah, so they chemtrailed it, and I think it's like the first time this town has ever been chemtrailed. So, anyways, nighttime comes, I'm at the same place again, and no stars in the sky. There's no stars in the sky. It's just covered with this like blanket of white.
yeah, I've seen that sometimes.
Fog.
When you look up and it's just pitch black, and there should be stars there. And then yeah, I've seen that as well myself. So I know what you mean.
Yeah. So after that point, I was like, I have to do some research about it. So I researched about chemtrails, and then I went into flat Earth, and then I met Sun and Moon family, and then I watched a couple of the videos on there, and
Yeah, tell us who's your favourite, because you were sort of telling me offline. Who's your favourite people that you like listening to?
um, initially it was Martin Kenny, and then quite recently I think Josh, and who else is there?
No, they're amazing, aren't they? Josh is amazing. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
definitely. And I listened to some old Dave Murphy videos, but yeah, you have some great people on.
So, Mango, around you, what's it? I know it's your story, but just asking you, have you got lots of friends that are into this, or is it just you on your own?
They're very much like deep in. I guess you can call that the Matrix. They're very deep in that, and if I ever tell them about flat Earth, they just look at me crazy, just like everyone else. So no, but family, I don't even get started. They think I'm just
I know, it's something
crazy.
like you don't have a family, isn't it? When you get into this, the way that everybody thinks, it's like they've trusted you to be your daughter, son, whatever it is, lover, husband, whichever way around it is in your family. And then you mention flat Earth, and they almost want to sort of put you out through the front door and disown you.
Except my mother actually.
Your mother, that's good.
Yeah, so I remember when I was young, and she was like telling us that how the Earth is actually flat and not round.
Oh, your mum's a flat earther! Yay! Big hugs to your mum.
Yeah, I feel like some people know the truth, but they're not vocal about it. They don't want to, I guess, express it, or who knows. A lot of people are in the closet, so.
So when I said to you earlier on about that, because this bit about that, there just seems to be a section of people that have woken up, and there's a trickle now, more of a trickle than this mass wake up. You weren't one of those. You're in the trickle.
Yeah. Yeah, quite possibly actually. Yeah, there's people out there who they wake up to flat Earth, but then they just stay at flat Earth. They don't.
I think sometimes these people end up not saying anything just for the reason that you've said, because I did hear that somebody, I don't want to mention their names, their marriage is broken up, they're a flat earther, and their partner isn't, and it can cause so many problems. Hey, there's Gonzalo. Gonzalo, just 1 second, please, Mango. Gonzalo,
Yeah.
I have actually done all your story, and we're going to put your story together with a couple of other stories and go live with that. It's just that Mango just happened to happen. So don't worry, Gonzalo. I have all yours. I've read it all out. It took me 20 minutes to read your email. I've done it all ready for one of the next stages of my story. But we will get round to that, just putting it together with something else. But we're here with Mango. So back to Mango. Just wanted to say that to Gonzalo. It's not forgotten you at all, Gonzalo.
Yeah. So funny thing about relationships actually. So when I was doing research about flat Earth, I became a flat Earth. I had a girlfriend, which was last year. But when I told her that I was a flat Earther, she actually started crying. Like it was that serious to her. She thought like I was like.
What did it end then, Mango?
I mean, obviously.
Oh,
but it wasn't.
Isn't it bad that you actually say flat Earth and everybody just says bye?
Yeah, the thing is, like, she was like in tears and everything because she's very because she's an engineer and she's all about science and everything and the universe and all that. And I told her, hey, it's flat, and she started crying, and I was like, really?
Oh, it's like you've got a disease. You've got a disease. You're
yeah. She thought I was crazy.
Or something.
Oh, definitely.
I don't understand because as flat earthers, you've got to contest with that stupid globe and learn more about the globe to be able to tell it back to the people, so we know more than they do about the globe. And then, as flat earthers, even if you follow them or not, you've got the square, the round, the concave, the convex. So we just let them be because none of us can prove it. So we go, okay, we move on. We know it's flat. You say that to a globe person, it's almost like, get out. You're sick.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to talk to you again. It's so bad.
It's really bad. And it's so hard over here because if you try to talk to people about flat Earth, they'll just stop talking to you, completely. I don't know. I think it's like,
yeah. I tried yesterday. I was on the phone to someone and I suddenly mentioned flat Earth and she was going, right. You could tell she wasn't interested. And the last thing I said, water seeks its level, and she's just like, okay. Like I was mentally deranged.
yeah.
Oh, so yeah. The thing is that they're the sick ones. They're the sick ones. It's not us who's sick. It's them.
Yeah, they have no common sense at all.
So this bit about flat Earth, then, what was it that grabbed you then? Because it's supposed to be your story. What was it that grabbed you? Like you got into Martin Kenny and etymology and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just a curious person. I love knowledge, and we got into um, Martin Kennedy's egg theory, and Josh's etymology, and Dave Murphy's urine therapy. I've tried everything. I've looked into everything basically. So, um, yeah, and I hope to educate people here.
Slowly, more Australians are coming forward to be flat earthers. We could probably put a map with pins on it for you, because there's Owen Gills. He's just had an operation. Giles, rather. He's just had an operation. But you've got Trouble About. There's Beck from Oz. There's a few more out in Australia now. The Aussies are catching up.
Yeah. But there's nobody like my age and my,
Yeah, Owen's your age. Owen's
is he?
Yeah, he's 31, but he I think he had dry lung. Is it? He's had to have his lung, like the lining of his lung. Oh, it sounds horrible taking that 'cause he can't breathe. Like his lung collapsed. He's had that going for that's problem for a while, but he's been in hospital. But he's about your age, and he lives. Oh my goodness, I can't remember, in the top part of Australia somewhere. Yeah, I can put you in touch with him, and he's got a P900, and he loves talking flat Earth. So don't worry, we'll put you in touch with him for you.
All right, sweet. But yeah.
Are you into the mud flood stuff and stuff like that?
I've been looking into that, and there's a couple of old buildings in my city. And funny thing is, all of them have like this white. I'm not sure what you call it, but like this is white, like this white chalk that's covered around them. I don't know why that. I don't know why that is, but
what do you mean, Mango?
like they're just like around the building. Like I'm not sure.
Right.
But, they all have some sort of like white chalk around them. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, but I looked into it and did some research on it, and there is a couple like of construction documents and stuff. So I don't know if other people built it. I think they definitely built it. I think the people that came here built it, because there is what do you call it?
Well, I watched a
blueprints.
video with I can't remember his name now. The guy who's sort of he's not actually Australian. He's got a foreign accent to me, but he's done a lot, and he was explaining like basically within a few years of moving there, all these churches and things were sprouting up. Like, it's just ridiculous. It can't be. They had to have been there before.
Yeah, because there's this. I think there's this building that was built. It was the old Parliament House, and it was built around 1860s. And there's a photo of them actually constructing it. And when you look at it, you would think, okay, this might be a mud flood building or something, but it isn't. So.
What you mean, that one was actually built in the time that they said?
Yeah, because there's actual pictures of it. There's actual.
But it is strange, isn't it, that we've got magnificent, great churches and buildings that are 300-400 years old that are still here today, perfect, beautiful, and there's no things about how they were constructed and stuff. And yet we were in horses and carts and stuff like that. It is a bit strange, isn't it?
It is a bit strange, but if you think about it, if you lived back then, people had just really good taste, so they would construct buildings that look good.
You watched Martin Luther, though? I mean, in 300-400 years.
Yeah, I've watched some of his. Yeah.
They had electricity.
At first, I did. I was inclined. I was like, there might be other people out there who, built these buildings, but as far as I know, the buildings that are built here in this city, they were definitely built by the people that came, because there is images of them constructing them and all that. So in other places around the world, I'm not too sure, but here in the city, it's definitely built by the people that came here.
So do you think that Australians are beginning to wake up now?
I'm not entirely sure, but I do think there's a lot of people that are in the closet that don't want to come out because they don't want to lose their job or something like that.
Yeah, but it is a bit
But
like that, isn't it? You know, like I must have said it a couple of times at jobs, and I don't think I kept those jobs because I mentioned flat Earth. So you can't mention it out there, otherwise you lose your job. It's not very good, is it?
no, it isn't. In fact, I have a networking night at a company on Tuesday, and I plan to talk about flat Earth to everyone. So just to see their reaction, they'll probably kick me out or something. But
that made you, because you're not very long ago. You're only like, what is it? December, January, February, March. You're only 4 months into it.
yeah.
What made you change from like being like realizing that you were a flat earther then? What was it that did it for you? That bit? Just I can't resist any longer.
Yeah, it was just that experience of like not seeing the stars in the sky, and it, it's just everything's just wrong.
Yeah,
We're,
how many people
we're
in the
like
world feel like that? Everything's wrong. We're in the wrong parody. Everything's wrong.
it's not
Wrong.
natural, because especially that small town. There's no airport there. There's planes don't fly over it, and for there to be chemtrails there, I don't understand. I don't get it. Because they do say things like it's the planes that cause these the chemtrails in the sky, etc. But there's no airport there, and planes don't fly over it. So I don't know how the chemtrails ended up in that town.
Yeah, not good. But they don't care, do they? They don't care where they're spraying and what they're doing. Can I just ask Patricia, have you got any questions yet you'd like to ask Mango? You've been sitting there. No. You must have one.
No, I'm just listening.
Okay. Because it's supposed to be we're supposed to be doing this as my story and everything. We've got to ask them questions and stuff. I thought you might have a question. Anyway, yeah, so what's your next step then? You said you're going to do a talk. You're going to mention it this week or something?
Yeah, so there's like this networking night at a company, and there's going to be a lot of top, executives and top people. It's a well-known company. Have you heard of it? It's called.
Well, you're going to say this in front of all of them.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. I think
Do you
people need
work
to know.
there? You work there, do you?
Yeah, so it's because I'm a student at a university, so
Right.
yeah, so it's a night for students to network and with people that are working at the company, and I'm going to be talking about flat Earth, so see how people react.
Do you work there as well then? Do you work?
No, but no, it's
you might not be working there afterwards.
I mean, I'd rather spread truth than
yeah, that's how we feel. But I'm a bit shocked that 3 years in and there's not more people who've woken up. To be honest, when there's now so much evidence and so many things. I mean, you can't really get around that water doesn't bend and stick to a ball. Surely, like water finds its level. So that to me, like. I don't understand why most people don't get that. They're looking at it and are on a boat going across to France. It's flat. They think they're on a ball.
Yeah, because I was actually speaking to my sister about this, and she said that people, a lot of people know about the lies, but the thing is they don't. They prefer to live in the illusions, They prefer to live in the lies, I guess.
I don't want to mention too much, by the way, because it was actually from Gonzalo's, which we're going to talk about, obviously, on the next one, my story that we do. But he was basically saying that his wife said, it's such a big change you're asking for. It's a change in everything I ever believed in. That's what we're facing,
Definitely.
isn't it? That's what we're facing, really.
Mm. You know, because I was talking to my sister about it, and I was telling her that cooked food is not good, etc. And she was like, you know what? But I love cooked food, and there's only so much you can do to convince people and to persuade them that everything about their life is just a lie. So again, it's up
I
to
think
them if they.
it's just even if everybody chooses to do something different, it's just that they're not open enough just to listen to the other side. That's what it is. And all it
Mm.
is, once the other side appears, all we've done is eat it all up. The information, everything. Like, I don't understand how it can be one way for one person and completely different for the other. I was just hoping more.
I think I do understand actually, because I was in a country once, and I was trying to learn the language, but the people there, they were telling me that I was an adult. I was too old to learn. I wasn't going to grasp it as quickly as let's say like a child would.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's I feel like to a degree it's pointless to. I'm not saying entirely it's pointless, but to a degree it's kind of pointless to like, I guess, tell an adult or a grown person, that the Earth is flat, because they're just not going to grasp it. It's better off to teach kids that the Earth is flat than to teach adults that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is, we don't go for the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think Patricia's got a question for you, by the way. Patricia?
Yeah. Hi, Mango. Yeah. Yeah. You were saying about I won't call them conspiracies, but things like vaccines and chemtrails and things like that. Do you think that flat Earth is like the last thing? Because you've looked into everything else and flat Earth. I know you sort of knew it was flat, but look into it and you go, there's nothing else to like. Once you get into flat Earth, it's like it's in a way. Is it like you seem to know everything? I don't mean in a horrible way, but like you think
Mhm.
there isn't anything else that would surprise me now. Do you feel like that?
Um, yeah, there's a lot of surprises in life. I mean, it's kind of hard actually, because I've only been here for 20 years. You know, I'm fairly young. I haven't experienced life that much, so I'm sure there's a whole lot of different things to learn about and explore. But flat Earth is more of a stepping stone, to learn about other things and to debunk all the lies, I guess. Um, yeah.
Mm. It's. I was just going to say something. Then it's gone out of my brain. Yeah, it's such flat Earth to me. That's it. Covers everything, and some people don't understand. I think they expect to see like a flat piece of paper, like everything's so flat. Oh, it's flat,
Mm.
and they start trying to get you on because there's mountains and there's all sorts of things. It's just a piece of land we're actually on is flat with the mountains and everything. But flat Earth to me covers everything. I think it's the same for you, isn't it? Vaccines, chemtrails, education, medication, the whole thing. It covers everything. The history, the lies. To me, it's about everything.
You know, if
Dinosaurs.
you really think about it, if you really think about it, it's a game. You know, it's a game um, designed by who knows. I mean, by a group of people. You know, you can call them the controllers, but it's definitely a game because it has all the rules. You know,
It's a pretty good game, isn't it? Because they've got going to space, they've got everything in it. Like, and it's all a lie. We were talking a bit about that, weren't we? I was saying it's almost as if we're on another stage set. You know,
it's a game because you know you go through the schooling system. You know, it's all the different levels. You know, they call it grades, but it's different levels. And then you go into uni, and then you go into a job, and then you die. And that's, you know, if you think about it, it's like a factory. It's like everyone's doing the same thing.
yeah, I know.
And then the next generation is doing the same thing. The next generation is doing the same thing.
I have asked that. Why? What? I just came here to produce the next set of slaves, did I? Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And, you know, this whole thing about, you know, the New Zealand attack and how immigration is such a bad thing and bringing in people is such a bad thing. But you do realize that the white population, the majority population in New Zealand and Australia is declining. They're basically just running out of, they're basically running out of slaves, you know. So they need to bring in
about that, about the fact that the numbers are going down, like China.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it's declining like crazy. So obviously they have to bring in more slaves in to keep the, you know, the machine going or the system going.
But they've been telling you the global warming, the global this, the global everything. Can't sustain it and stuff like that. When in reality, the actual number of people is slowly going down, and it takes more than 2 people to make the next generation. I think it's like 2.5. So you need almost, I don't know why you need 3 people to make the next generation, but when you start adding up, and someone was like doing back generations, how many people it takes, and if you go back the generations to actually make the generation of today, how many people it's taken. So if that's declining, that's not good, is it really?
Yeah, but you know, if you look at the countries in Arabia and in Africa, because I would go into those countries, and each family they would have like 20 brothers and sisters. So if you look at the controllers who control this whole game and this whole planet or whatever, you know, getting people from those countries is is a good replacement to this whole, you know, declining of the population in these countries like Australia, New Zealand, and all that. Because I have a neighbor, they're from West Africa, and they have what 20, not 20, sorry, 10 siblings, and their neighbors right here. So, I mean,
some countries that still don't really have, like, the mobiles they've got are the old ones we had 5-10 years ago. They're not smartphone ones, so they're still relying on that. You know, places like Mexico, India, Africa, maybe the Middle East, they don't have, maybe they're starting to get iPhones, but they're all on the old Nokias and things. These people haven't, you know, they maybe
I've actually been there. So some of the rich people that live there they definitely do have iPhones.
Yeah.
But everybody else, it's just they just have regular phones, I guess. You know, the thing is, because I lived there for like maybe 3 years. When I was like 15, I lived in a bunch of different countries in the third world, and they live they live.
Mango, but you've done quite a lot. Then carry on.
Yeah, so they live the happiest life ever. You know, like they grow their own food and they go climb mountains all day. And you know, schooling is not compulsory. They're just free, you know. They just do whatever they want. They don't have to pay taxes, anything like that. Like everyone just looks after themselves, but everybody's a community. so everyone knows each other. So like here in Australia, if I went to my neighbor's backyard, they would call the police on me. But in these other countries, right, it's perfectly fine. It's like because everybody like they actually live in a community, you know. There's no division like you see in these first world countries. Like if you hop on a train here in Australia, everybody's just quiet. You know, no one's talking to each other at all. But if you hop in a bus in a third world country, everyone's talking to each other. And there's like this massive.
Because they don't have smartphones.
Oh no, they do have smartphones there. But the thing is, they prefer to talk to people than look at their phones all day.
We used to be like that, but I think what it is that everybody's so mixed up with debt. Oh my God, the television. Oh my God, I've got to get on now and see what's happening with Big Brother, whatever it is, you know, whatever program they're watching. Everybody's and the way that the laws are, you can't talk to anybody, you can't be nice to anybody. Everybody just sticks their heads down. I'm the same now, only because it's a bit like if I see someone coming, I might say flat Earth, so I put my head down now because I just think it's easy. I just think it's easier just to walk through and not look. But that's how everybody else feels.
I guess. But it's also to do with I'm not too sure, but
I tried the bit where I'm open.
It's just a lack of community.
People aren't like that. They're not like that anymore. It's just the way we've been bred, I think.
Yeah.
You know what we're watching on the television, what they're telling us, what the laws they're changing. They're making it so that, you know, no one's looking up now. They don't want us looking up, do they? And like you're saying, oh, the stars aren't here tonight. Oh, the stars are here tonight.
Actually, if you think about it, quite recently, I think it was like February 16th, they sprayed the skies here in my city, and then I recorded it, like an audio recording, and then March 16th, they do it again, so like a month later. So I feel like there's like this pattern where they have a specific date on when to do it. So
well,
I'm waiting to
Mango. A little while ago, this was. I don't know if Dave's got it now, but Dave Marsh, he got the 100 years of moon rises and settings, and guess where it came from? NASA.
Okay.
NASA are the ones in control of the sun and moon rises and stuff like that. How can that be? They're supposed to be into space, not like well, it's all a lie anyway. But yeah, they the ones producing 100 years, so they can actually predict where the moon's coming and setting, and for 100 years.
Wow.
Makes you think simulation, doesn't it? It just does.
Oh, definitely. And you know, everything is pre-planned. Everything is pre-planned. Yeah, so one night I was looking up at the skies, and I see everyone else just looking down at their phones. I'm like, can you not see that they're spraying your skies? And they're just like, oh, it's because it's such, you know, I don't understand people.
I tell you what, it's not even that. It's just having a mixture of looking up and looking down. I mean, no one's perfect, even me, you know, on my phone at times. But it's the fact that people aren't looking up at all.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like phones were designed for us just to look down. You know, they gave us phones so that we can get distracted. You know?
Well, that's
it's a toy for.
So we can be plugged in.
Yeah, so it's like a toy for, you know, older people, I guess. It's a distraction. Everything is a distraction. You know, your job is a distraction. You know, your everything is a distraction.
It's really strange, isn't it? Because they've brought us together in these towns and cities, and the one thing we're not is a community. You know, we were a community with people when we lived a bit more local and stuff like that. Now they've stuffed us in all these towns, which should mean the community should be bigger. We're not. We're less of a community. I don't even know. I live in a small close. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about 12, 14 houses in here. I only know the people across the. Well, I don't even know them anymore. They move. I know about 2 or 3 people in here. But I just want to keep to myself. Because they think I'm crazy. So I just keep to myself here because I live here. But nobody talks. There's only 12, 14 houses in the close with none. I don't even know who anybody is. No one says.
They say Australia is the most, multicultural country with all these different people, different backgrounds. But trust me when I say this, it's very segregated. You have one area where there's Asians, you have one area where there's Africans, you have one area where there's whites. There's no mixing at all. So it's not, everyone just stays with people that look like them, I guess. And they talk about, oh, it's so multicultural. Everyone's mixing. No one's mixing. Everyone's just staying within their own, I guess, culture.
Yeah. No one trusts each other anymore, do they? That's but they've bred that in us. I mean, we don't realise it, but just watching the television, we get this thing called Jeremy Kyle, whereas in America it's Jerry Springer, and it just goes on, and all they are is programs to promote that nobody gets on, nobody trusts each other, and everybody's lying, cheating, and having an affair. But we don't. What it is you watch it and you think it's funny that it's someone else's life. The thing is, they've made these programs to put out to show you that nobody gets on every day, drilling it into people. Look at the deceit, look at the lies, look at them this, look at that, look at the betrayal. That's all you're seeing.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I have a friend who has diabetes, right? And with this whole new information that I found out, I was able to, I was telling him, like, if you just go onto like a, fruit-based diet, eventually you'll just, pass away. But he just refuses, he was like, I love my KFC. And I'm like, so you choose KFC over your health? I mean, I don't understand humans at all. I mean, people choose, bad habits over their own health and their own well-being. It just,
I think what they've done is they've made society believe it doesn't have a choice when it did. And most of us actually have a choice in what we do, where we go, what we eat. It's just that we're told we don't have a choice. Everybody doesn't think they've got a choice, but it's our choice.
To an extent, I guess. To an extent, because if you think about it, if you're someone here who wants to leave the country, well, you need a passport. And in order to get a passport, you need to have a birth certificate or some sort of ID. And if you do not conform and you don't get an ID or a birth certificate and you don't have any of those things, then you're going to be stuck in the country. So in a way, there is some choice, but in a way, there is, there's also that enforcement that they put on us, So if you want a passport, you have to have a birth certificate. You have to sign away your life to them, So, I mean, how else are you going to get out of the country?
Well, loads do it, don't they? As stowaways, but I know it's not a good thing. I know what you mean. We should just be able to walk around. It's just that you used to be able to do that, didn't they? Didn't you need passports to turn up at some country? Now, well, I suppose maybe it's because so many people are moving. They want to keep an eye on everybody, don't they?
Yeah, and they use fear. Fear is probably the greatest way to control people. Everything is fear-based, Like if you think about the recent attacks in New Zealand with those guns, it's just to put fear into people.
Yeah, I think that's the bit I dislike the most is the fear side of everything that they do.
Yeah, it's
everybody's just in fear, and it's not good, is it? That's what they've done there. That's what they've wanted to create.
Well, if everyone wasn't in fear, then everyone would be awake, You gotta keep the population in fear so that I guess they still play the game.
Yeah, when you wake up though, it is a bit like it's just disappointing, isn't it? When you think, well, I've woken up, we've got this far, and then you're still in the same battle. In fact, it's worse the longer it goes on, I think, because I don't think enough people have woken up. And like you say, a lot of people understand that, well, maybe the moon landings aren't real, and there's this hoax or whatever it is, or that chemtrail or something like that, and they still don't put it together that the picture's even bigger.
Oh, definitely. And I've been having like these visions ever since I was young of like myself on this. I'm not too sure what you call it, but it's like a chariot or something like that. And I'm like whipping this horse. And ever since I was like 6 years old, I would do these hand gestures of me like a horse, be riding a horse or something like that. And it just kept playing and it kept playing. And then when I heard about Martin Kenny and how he had like these, his past reincarnation of someone else, and how he was talking about how the Earth is just like there's like four centric circles or something like that. For some reason I resonated with that a lot because it was in line with like these visions I was having, and he was talking about the center. And when I watched that video, the same night I had a vision again, and it was me riding this horse.
About now, you mean it's a like it's come together as a whole thing for you. The flat.
Yeah. So it's like this me and this like I was wearing clothes that I've never seen before. I was riding this horse going down a hill, and I was like being chased by like these figures I've never seen before. And then I don't know, for some reason I just took that and I was like, did I get banished from the center? I don't know, like something like that. I'm not too sure, but there is something in what he was saying. There's a lot of truth in what he's saying about how the Earth might just be like, there's the center and then you have outer rings and all that. But yeah.
So where would you like Flat Earth to go then? As you're almost a newie.
I'm not new in Flat Earth, but a lot of people, would say, like, what do you mean by that? Like, go into mainstream or?
What would you like to happen with Flat Earth? Yeah, would you like it all to be mainstream? Would you like the world to wake up? It's flat. What is it? Like, is that that's what I want. I want the world to realise we're flat. It would create chaos. So that's what would happen. Imagine how we feel. It makes you feel angry, not maybe angry, but upset. It makes you question everything that you've ever thought. Imagine the whole world would have to do that if they woke up. It would be so much would happen. It'd be chaos for a while.
I don't think it will make any difference actually.
Just saying.
To be honest with you, if everybody woke up today and everyone said the Earth was flat, I can guarantee you it won't make any difference. People will still wake up and go to their 9-to-5 jobs, and they will still eat, they'll do the same thing. I don't think it will make the change that the flat Earth community thinks it's going to make.
I think people a conscious one, it's conscious that we need to, like I said, I still eat meat, but I've cut down on my consumption of meat. In fact, it doesn't quite mean the same. Give me a lump of meat, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can eat it. But bits and bobs in it is fine. But I haven't quite given up meat, but at least I don't have as much meat now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it changes you as a person. Things change in you. Like your outlook, how you treat people. So this is where we've got to get back to, because we don't treat people very nicely, do we, anymore?
That is true, but But I've met a couple of flat earthers, and they believe that the earth is flat, but they're still very much, in the matrix. They still, you know, um, go to the 9 to 5 and do all this, what the system tells them to do. But I don't think it'll make this huge difference that everyone thinks it is.
No, otherwise things like 9/11 would have made a huge difference to people. We've had such catastrophe already. It would make such
Yeah,
a difference to people, and it hasn't. In fact, I think these things can actually make people worse, to be honest.
you know, especially because my generation is the future generation, and my generation is just a complete joke. You know, if you talk, everything to them is just a huge joke. Have you heard of memes?
Yeah.
So everything is just a giant. They think that life is just a giant meme to them.
I think what it is the sense of humour set up that if you're actually taking the mickey out of someone else and you can see it and they don't, that's what makes people laugh. Ha ha ha, look at this. That's the kind of humour people want. Beating someone else. That's what they think's great. Like it's
I mean the amount of like
it's always that kind of thing that really makes people laugh.
the amount of ignorance is just it's so overwhelming. I mean, I sit with these people every day in class, and they're very skilled in whatever they do.
Hey, have you followed Peter and Pete, by the way? Do you know who Peter and Pete are?
Yeah, I did watch
The beginning of their video, they've got that guy saying, "You can be extremely intelligent, but very, very stupid."
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So what they've done is they've given everyone enough intelligence for them to do things, but not enough for them to realize the lies and the deception. So you might be.
All of us feel like that, don't we? We feel there's something wrong, but it is a bit weird, isn't it? Just say that you weren't us flat earthers, and then you wake up and you suddenly think, "What do you mean the government's lying to us?" I mean, it is a bit of a. This is horrible, isn't it? The whole thing is just it's disgusting. It's horrible what they've done. The whole thing is just. It's almost like I just can't believe that we're here, like living in this.
Yeah.
It's just so sad for the people, and I just don't understand how we got to being here. Like everything's a lie, everything, and all that stuff about go to space. Oh my goodness gracious me! It's disgusting.
It's disgusting, but actually, I've been doing some thinking about the whole NASA situation because I recently worked for government, and hold on one moment. I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Is that okay?
Sorry?
I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
All right, he's leaving us. That's okay. Quick then. Well, I just can't believe that that basically they've been able to. If people just woke up and realised it's just a funnel machine, and that's if it's all real, because every day the government puts £53 million in their coffers, do they? Every day, cha-ching, cha-ching. But the way that they're using that to funnel all the money for their fake everything, it's just a bit upsetting, isn't it, Patricia?
I'm really sorry. What was that?
You're eating, are you? I was just saying the whole thing, the whole funneling of everything, that money, like it's just disgusting, that NASA thing.
Well, it's not just NASA, is it? Taking our money off us through stupid taxes and stuff. You just think, what? When people don't realise it, they just, the little money we get, they want all our money basically. Why don't they just say, right, we're going to take every single penny off you. They might as well, because people are gullible to do it.
I think people are starting to feel the pinch though on the taxes and that, because it is a bit naff, isn't it?
taxes is just a whole lot of rubbish. I
It
mean,
is.
if they needed money, they'll just print it out like they've been doing. But you know, I've recently worked for government, and you know, I know what goes on behind the scenes, and you know, the whole NASA thing. You know, a lot of people think, oh, it's they did that to deceive us, but then you know, looking back at it, you know, I did some thinking, and I was like, you know, it's a government department, and their interest is in, you know, the country and the people. And trust me, I've worked in government, and they definitely do a lot of, you know, deception, but it's not what you know, it's not to just lie to us. It's all about like integrity. It's all about image, and I think there is. I think the whole reason why they take the whole moon landing thing is because they couldn't do it, so they faked it because they wanted to, like essentially show the world, you know,
Well, it keeps them in
America's.
control, doesn't it, in the sky now?
No, because what happens in government is if they fail to meet a project, or if they fail, so basically what happens is we had a project where we spent like what, nearly $1 billion, and if that news was let out to the public, then you know there would be like an outroar because it's the public's money, I
A lot of
guess.
money, isn't it?
Yeah. So what they do is they will try to create lies around it. And I think that's what the whole moon landing was. It was, okay, shit, I can't go. We can't go to the moon, and we spent all this money. What do we tell the people? Hollywood, you know. I think I think that was I think that's what happened. I don't think it's like a whole deception lie thing to, you know, the whole world. I think it's, we can't go there. We spent so much money. What a waste of time. Let's go to Hollywood. That's what it was. And I don't think, yeah, I don't think it was like this whole.
Yeah, but they've been doing this now for 50 odd years, lying like that.
Well, I mean, you gotta keep up the lie somehow, you know. So, I mean,
You hear in the paper that the moon's in our atmosphere now, and people still don't get it.
yeah, yeah. I saw that article. Yeah,
The world's not jumping up and down and going, what do you mean? If it's supposed to be 260 odd thousand miles away and it's in our atmosphere. Thing is, NASA kept putting the moon in our atmosphere because they kept putting it in the blue sky, and the blue sky only goes up for so far. So, yeah, they had to, didn't they?
yeah.
Well, that's what I reckon anyway.
I mean,
So, Mango, we've been going for about, I don't know, 45, 50 minutes. We said about an hour, but just asking you, because obviously this is your story. So what would you like to happen now?
I'm not too sure really. Did you want to keep going or?
No, I meant no. I didn't mean about the hangout. I meant with flat Earth and out there. And what is it you'd like to happen? Yeah, take over the hangout. End the hangout. I'm joking. Carry on.
Like ask the chat, or just in general, just people out there.
Yeah, but I mean, what would you like? Obviously, you've woken up. You're starting to go speak outwardly. So what? So you said you're not that bothered if we don't wake up and it's a flat Earth. You don't think anything will change. So what does that mean then? If you're a flat Earther, but you don't think anything's going to change?
Just just let it happen. Just let it play out. You know, just experience it. I don't think we should be. It's good to inform others, but we shouldn't be forcing them to embrace it. You know.
You can't force anybody into this. Everybody has to wake up for themselves. It's just shocked that more people haven't woken up.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's a good concept and everything. If everyone was awake and everyone knew that the Earth was flat, everyone would be awake and the whole world would be better. But I don't know, that just sounds fictional. It doesn't sound like reality. And even if that was true, people will still be doing the same things. People will still go to their 9 to 5. People will still do the same thing. It's just, I guess we live in a society where people just don't care about anything anymore.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing. But I think we've been bred like it. Like, if you change the laws that says if you help someone you could get into trouble, if you're going to keep changing the laws over years and years, and you're just the people won't be interested and will be different. And that's where we are. I mean, most of us, if you're a bit older like me, I'm older than you, Mango, but like your age, we seem to care more as a society. Everything was a bit brighter. Now, maybe it's because we've woken up. Everything is quite dark and deep. And
Actually, quite recently, the schools were going to be shut down, and the students at the schools were going to protest for climate change.
Oh dear.
I started laughing when I heard that. I mean, what climate change? And protesting, when you're protesting, you're begging. People don't realize it, but people created government. Why are you begging something that you created?
Because I think it is that this whole machine, like maybe people, like in the Victorian times when government sort of came along, when it started to change into this government in London, that kind of thing for us, people were then looking up at these people, and they still do, but they shouldn't, because all they do is, I said to my mum the other day, I am never voting again, Mum, for this rubbish. Never am I voting again. I said, you vote.
When you're voting for a particular party, right? And in your mind, you might think, oh, this person would be perfect for to become prime minister. But anyways, when you're voting, it's a lose-lose,
because they already know the outcome, and then they don't show you the. They don't show you the small print that basically what they're going to do is they're going to take millions of pounds or dollars or whatever you want to call it out for this, and they're going to use it on fake NASA. They're going to use it to go to war. They don't tell you all these things, but basically when you sign for those things, that's what you're doing. You're just giving the freedom to them to do what they want.
I mean, they took your freedom ever since you got that birth certificate, that birth certificate is a contract, so I mean, your parents signed you away to the government.
I know, that's the saddest bit, is when you actually realise what it all means. Oh, it's horrible.
It's just horrible.
It is horrible.
It's all and
it's
the thing is,
communism.
the whole
communism.
Yeah, and people, people who are religious, they'll tell you, there's these entities that are called angels and devils. But the only angel and devil is you, There is no some secret special entity that's an angel or a devil or anything like that. The only devil is you, and the only angel is you. So, if you eat, the system's food, I guess, well, then you're just it's a complex topic, but yeah.
I know, but maybe what it is it's about getting, like, with the next generations, it's having, listen to Mango, he sounds very calm and placid. We need more people like that. Everybody's got too egotistical in the globe world. We need more people who sound like Mango, who are prepared to then sit down and discuss it and work things out. Because in the globe world, it's not like that, is it? It's ego upon ego upon ego. So maybe that's, it might take a few generations to change this. Like another 10, 20, 30 years to bring back people who sound more like Mango, who are not egotistical and would like to sort things out or learn new things. Do you understand what I mean? At the moment, it's all about money and egos.
Yeah, but it's not hard to not be egotistical, though.
I don't think that money's the evil thing. I think it's the people. I think you can have it all if you've understood it. You know, some people have, you know, it's just that we haven't understood it, and everybody's just, unfortunately, you know, I don't like all the, you know, not being horrible, but a lot of Englishmen are very arrogant. I don't like it, but that's the way society's been bred, isn't it?
Yeah.
You remind me a bit of Owen. Owen's quite like you. You're quite a quiet person, really, aren't you? No, Owen's like you.
Speaker, yeah.
You a bit nervous? Is this one of your first hangouts?
Oh no, I'm not nervous actually. I'm just not like a storyteller, you know.
You
Not
want
much
to
of
tell your story?
not much of a presenter, but
Mango's been sort of like quite desperately the last few weeks. Well, I want to come on. I want to come on, son.
actually, quite recently, I did something really, really stupid. I stared at the sun for like I think it was like 15. I'm not too sure. I think it might have been like from 15 to like an hour straight, just staring at the sun. And I got this like I got this I don't know, like energy, you know. I could just run forever. But then after an hour, I just, you know, subsided or whatever. And then the next day, I get this like a blind spot in the eye. And I go to the eye doctor and like, you fried the back of your eyes, and now all I see is like this blurry vision. Like I can't even read words properly now.
What? That's what your eyes are like now?
Yeah. So it's like I have trouble reading. So
oh, what you did this day? And what did you do? Say that again. What you did?
So what I was doing was like I was staring at the sun for like I don't know. It was just something. You know, I don't know why I did it. You know, it was just.
You're supposed to do it in the morning or the evening, aren't you?
I did it in like the afternoon, and I did it for like 15 to 20 minutes to an hour, I think.
Oh my God.
I got this for this one. But anyways, the eye doctor was like, "Oh, that's permanent. You're never gonna restore your vision." But it's actually shrinking, and there's something that I'm doing. It's actually helping it, and it's actually shrinking. So once it's gone, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to the same eye doctor and tell him, "Look, I'm cured." You know.
But don't do that again. Not in the hot sun, like because it's very you're the sun coming out of the summer, aren't you? So don't do that again in the middle of the day, Mango.
Yeah. I'll try it again, maybe in the winter or something.
You've got to be careful. Best thing is to watch it is when dawn happens and the sun comes up. That's when you can watch it, and even then, it's still pretty bright. It can be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I tell you what, I was a bit like surprised about. The one thing with Brett, who came on a few weeks ago with Australia, is that you know to get our summer, the sun has to be high in the sky, has to be going north and high in the sky for us to have hotter weather. Yeah, for you, it has to be low in the sky to get the hotter weather. I think that's quite. It's almost as if we're on a seesaw, to be honest, with the weather. Because you have to be low in the sky.
Yeah, in the afternoon it's pretty hot.
The higher the sun goes for you, the colder it is. But the higher the sun goes for us, the hotter it is. So it can't be that it's hot, further away or lower that makes the difference. It can't be, because it's the complete opposite here to you. And we both get hot weather, well, hotter weather. Well, you get very hot weather.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 1 second. Somebody's just knocked on the door. Just 2 seconds. Patricia, can you ask Mango a question? I just got to answer the door. It's Ellie's boyfriend's food's turned up. Hang on 2 secs.
Yeah.
It's not so much a question. It was just when you were on about like getting people to wake up. You've got this sort of they'll do it in their own time, attitude, a bit like me. You know, you can't make someone do something. But I was just thinking, reminded me a little bit of when you used to have, oh, words have just gone out of my brain. Not unusual for me, to be honest. Miss World speeches. I want world peace. I want everyone to love each other. It is just a fantasy, and even though we want it to happen, it's never going to happen. You know, people have to come to their own decision about things.
It won't happen, but I know what you mean. And if it does, it's only going to cause another kind of chaos. But carry on, Patricia.
But yeah.
Well, that were it, really. Sorry.
Yeah, you have to be careful because you don't want to become a preacher. And that's what I feel like the flat earth community is becoming. It's turning into, you know, one of those religious preachers. And, you know, people don't like religious preachers, you know, people who, you know, come up to you and say, you know, this flat, you must believe in it. You just got to give people who have their time. If it's not their time, then it's not their time, you know.
But
you know that they're trying to kill flat earth at the moment, though, don't you? All that horrible videos everybody's making, all the drama, and the fact that YouTube have basically stuck us on the side track of the rest of everything else, so that flat earthers don't pick up any passing trade now like everyone else, because we're not in the front. They pushed us so far back. So I mean, it is a bit like.
I mean, if you think about it, if you go back centuries ago, when a new religion would be formed, the other religions would be like, that's wrong, don't listen to it. That's stupid, that's dumb. You know, I feel like it's the same thing, you know. You just gotta give it time.
Yeah, in reality, like this, because what it is people think that flat earth is new, but it isn't. It was just not talked about in the public for 20 years, and everybody goes, what is all this flat earth stuff? But it's always been here. But yeah, we've only been this time round, it's been 3 years, which isn't very much, but because we all know the truth and the fact that it was here hundreds of years ago, and in fact all the native people believe we're flat earth, it's for us, it's hard to fight, it's hard to, you know, like how do we get here when probably 3/4 of the world doesn't believe enough in a globe? It's only America and Europe, really, the Western countries. I know that's you as well, but you're down there in Australia. But you know what I mean, those that are in probably NATO. They're the ones.
Actually, when I was living in those third world countries for a couple of years, everyone knew the earth was flat there. Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So it's the minority that believe in a spinning ball, but the minority think that.
Yeah, so the people in the third world countries know that the earth is flat. And actually, I was doing, I did a bit of high school there. And they were teaching, in biology class, they were teaching about how we came from apes. And our science teacher was like, guys, before I begin this lesson, you don't have to believe in this. I know this is just garbage, but the government is the one that's telling us to teach you this shit. So, you know, and I was like, wow, I've never heard it, you know, a teacher, you know, say something like that, which was kind of strange. But and this was in a third world country, you know.
Frustrated people just like us, all stuck in the system. Like, come on, burst! Come on, let burst the ball.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do about it, you know?
It does.
I mean, I was vaccinated. Like, I still have the scar on my arm. Sucks.
Yeah, what the what do you call it? The one we had when you're 14, I forget, tuberculosis or something. That one marks your arm.
Yeah, because when we traveled, we had to get all these needles for some reason. But yeah, and they have different air over there as well, you know.
I think
very
it's
different.
crazy that you now give MMR, its vaccines, whatever it is, to children, and half of them turn out autistic, and no one's saying or doing anything. I think that's really crazy.
Definitely. I mean, you know, people rely so much on science and what these scientists have to say. You know, I used to love Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know, I used to watch all of his movies, films, and I was so obsessed with that. You know. But at the end of the day, it's all an animation.
Because that's all you know, isn't it, though? That's all you know. That's all you're going to see, and that's all you're going to look at.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is, ever since at a young age, what they do is they sell you the system, right? With music and food and friends. So they sell you the system and they tell you, look, it's all fun and games. It's amazing. And so you buy into it. And right, so you buy into the globe earth, you buy into whatever the hell they tell you to buy into. And whenever you hear someone talk about flat earth or, you know, a different view of something, your program is to immediately, you know, say, you're wrong. I'm not gonna listen to you, you know. So, you know, it's just commerce, you know. Ever since, you know, I was young, I felt like they were selling me something, you know, when I was in school. You know, whether it be through sports or, you know, through dance and music and food. It's like they were just selling me something. They were like, look at this system, it's beautiful, it's fun, enjoy it. And I'm like, no, it isn't. I mean, I don't know, like ever since I was a kid, I wasn't really a kid. I was more of like an adult. I had that adult mentality. I could see the deception and lies at like age 10. I mean, I got into 9/11 when it was 2001, and I was born in um, 97. So I got into 9/11 at, I think it was like age 11. I think it was like 2009 when I got into 9/11. And I was like an 11-year-old watching 9/11 videos. And I wasn't a normal kid, but, you know, I got into conspiracy at a young age, you know.
So you're only 21 then, Mango?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he's all right, baby. All right, youngster. I don't mean baby in a horrible way. I just meant a youngster. I just want to work out. Oh.
I don't feel like youngster though. I feel like I've been here.
A lifetime of flat Earth then. Yay. Oh.
A lifetime.
Just to say as well, Cat 49 has mentioned the fuel hoax. That's another one of the lies.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, it's not all 100% lies. It's half truths, you know. So when they say that there's no fuel in planes, well, there is fuel in planes, and they do store it, but they only use it when they're, I guess, taking off and landing. I think it was. But other than that, then obviously, yeah, they use air.
They made people believe that there's tons of fuel sitting in the wings, which there isn't.
I mean, how
there's not to mention the fact that these things are working off free energy as well, that the aeroplanes actually are. You only have to look up Victor Schauberger, you know, and it will tell you that they've been using these for years and years, these engines, and they're compressed air engines. And, you know, this is probably why, really, Ryanair can do your £49 a return. They're not really using fuel. Such just... Do you know what? I think they've lied so much. I just don't think people are shocked anymore. And if they are, it goes in one ear and out the other.
I mean, 100 years from now, you know, they'll look back and they'll find Sun and Moon Family, and they'll watch these videos and they'll look, oh, you know, these people actually knew what was going on. You know, there is going to be a time when people, you know, will realize, you know, the lies and stuff. But I don't think it will turn the world into some happy place. It'll turn into a more destructive place because you know, it'll be chaos basically. You know, if everyone was awake, it'll be chaos. It wouldn't be.
Wake up when we're absolutely in communism of some kind. You know, when there are, you know, people are being watched wherever they go. Put their little cards in, chink chink. Right, I'm going over that bridge, chink chink. I have to come. You know what I mean? It's going to be more like kind of thing. And then people will wake up once we've been more monitored and yeah.
Yeah, but I work in technology, so we're already being monitored. You know, if you think about it.
Oh yeah.
That phone, I mean, that phone that you carry everywhere. They know where you're going. They know what you've been buying. You know, they know everything.
That's a good thing, isn't it, to sell to the people your mobile phone and saying all these wonderful things. But the GPS tells you, if they have to, the GPS tells you exactly where you've been, and people just don't realise it. It's a good way of doing it, isn't it? Hiding all the stuff that they need to monitor is actually in a telephone.
Yeah, it's all on your phone, your laptop. Yeah, so it's all about data nowadays. You know, extracting as much data from people so we know where they are, what they're doing, what they're buying. And you know, the funny thing is, with all this data that they have, they still couldn't manage to find. They still couldn't what do you call this? Intelligence agencies.
Oh yeah,
They couldn't even.
none of them work together, do they?
Yeah, they couldn't even stop.
They don't work together yet. We've got all this stuff they do, and they want, but that's what they want, don't they? Because they'll pull it in when they want to and make it look confusing when they want to. That's the whole point, isn't it?
But the thing is, they would boast about how, you know, they have all this technology and they're keeping track of people, but yet they couldn't prevent that man from shooting up those people in New Zealand, which is kind of strange. I mean, I don't know. They couldn't prevent, you know, with all the data that they have, and you know, it doesn't fit. It doesn't match up.
No, for sure it doesn't. It doesn't at all, which is why we're here, isn't it? Because we know it doesn't add up. We can see it doesn't add up. And if you're going to keep lying to the people, we can see it. We can see they're lying. It's the most crazy place to be, really, to be honest. But maybe a good place if we can tip that scales. With people power. It's got to be the people this time, I think. It's the people rising up in a conscious way without violence. It's got to be.
Yeah, but wasn't there like this? Wasn't there a movement? Wasn't there like a movement similar to this in the 1970s, where you had the hipsters and you know you had you know people, you know the Vietnam War and peace and love and all that. Do you remember that at all?
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about that?
I think they killed it all off in the late 90s. So on the internet, Flat Earth, there was I forget his name now, but he wasn't called the Flat Earth Society, but something very like that. He had everything. He had a whole workshop. He had all the papers, and his whole place got burnt down. And he was producing magazines and things for Flat Earth and everything. And then after that, you know, because obviously he was older and his whole place burnt down, then really Flat Earth disappeared off the for everything. But the early 90s to 2000 and well, say 15. We'll say 2015. Although some people always knew they were a flat earther as children. That doesn't cover all those, but I'm just saying the general maths. So that's what 25 years they took it out of society. That's a gap, isn't it?
I mean, NASA talks about, you know, going to Mars, but why don't you go back to the moon?
No, it's such a joke, isn't it? When you hear that, oh my god!
It's, you know, but you know, when you're awake, when you're awake, and you see this in the news, you know, you just laugh. You know, it's funny. It really is funny. But you know, I used to take things so seriously. You know, I used to take life so seriously. But now, you know, I don't take it as serious anymore. It's all just a game, you know.
Yes, that's the thing. It's like we're on a Monopoly game, isn't it?
people make fun of monopoly, and oh, look at this fake money. But the thing is, the reality is you're using fake money as well.
Yeah, everything's
mean-
fake. Really everything is fake, and whatever is real, they've covered up in a bunch of lies just to cover up, so we don't work out the real truth. So, like.
But what money does is it creates greed, and it creates selfishness and lack of empathy. When you remove money, you get community, you get openness, you get love. So when they say money is the root of all evil, I think that's true.
I don't think it's the money that's evil. It's the people. Like I said, I think you can have it. You can have it all, but you can marry money with. It's not money that's evil. It's the people. But what gets me is that
how much of your money are you willing to?
On money, when it's the people are the most important, and money's just a piece of paper. And I so wish that they'd kept it that way. Like money just is a medium of exchange. No, but in our world right now, money is the motivator. Money is the God. Money is everything, not the people. It should be the people. And that's what we're hopefully bringing back in, is it with Flat Earth, is that the people are the most important. So I finished.
So this is what they do in the third world countries. Is they don't even, like, although they have money, like they have a monetary system in place. A lot of the time, if you were to go like, let's say, clothes shopping, a lot of the times you can just trade. You don't have to use money. You can just trade like food for a shirt or something. There's no obligation to use money. Nobody's forcing you to use it. And another thing is that they do is doing things just out of love, because you're a fellow human being. I'm gonna cut your grass because I love you. That's it. Why can't love be a currency? Why do we need to exchange things? Why can't we just do things out of love? Because if you truly think about it, we're all connected. Everybody is connected, and
yeah, we are. If only people remembered that.
They are you and you are they. So if you make someone happy, you smile, don't you?
Yeah.
But if you see someone that's crying, then you get upset, you become empathetic, because that person is just you. It's just a mirror. You're just looking at yourself. But yeah. But I do believe that money is because money, it brings greed, and it brings all this, I guess, negativity to it.
Have you enjoyed today, by the way? Have you enjoyed
Yeah.
and giving your story as you were? Sorry, Mango's been like jumping up and down on email. I want to come on, no. And I just had met you, but obviously you're a really nice person. It's been a real pleasure meeting you, Mango. Hopefully you'll come on some of our other hangouts in the future.
Thank you, Karen. There's a comment here. Gonzalo, he said that he was an aircraft mechanic and that they use fuel.
Yeah, Gonzalo, we're not saying they didn't use fuel. They're just lying about it being trillions of tons. And what it is that I also had somebody write to me. He worked. He lived in Chile. He was in the Air Force in Chile, and he said I could lose my job for writing this. He just said everybody sees it all coming to the plane and the fuel and all that, but basically it was a lie. They do put a little bit of fuel in there, but not like they're saying. because obviously they need to, they have to incorporate going up the runway, maybe even, I don't know, maybe when they're low flying, like when they should be landing and they've got to, maybe it uses a bit of fuel there, but basically when they're actually cruising, it's free energy, only landing and taking off they use fuel. And why not just tell us?
Well,
like,
I mean, if they told everyone,
we don't even know what we're flying around in.
I mean, if they told everyone, then everyone would just replicate it, and I guess airports would become obsolete, and airlines would become obsolete because you would have people create their own planes. I guess. I mean, I'm not too sure. But yeah, going back to that money. If you think about it, it's a limitation. There's so many people out here with so many great ideas, but they can't embark on those ideas. They can't make it reality because
the only way you can make somewhere in the world now is to actually be, have money. That's how they bred it, isn't it?
Yeah. And so what happens is we have a whole lot of people with such great innovative ideas that just get lost because of money, But if we had a community where, people did things for each other just out of love, I grow this fruit and you grow that fruit and we exchange it, and that's it, something like that. That's a way better. Or even like trade, just trading. I'm good at computers and programming, and that person is good at, growing fruit and vegetables, and somehow we can just exchange our, trades or whatever.
Yeah, but you know what? If everybody knew the truth, everybody would do things a bit differently. If everybody knew the truth of the matter before they started, it's the fact that it's a bit like you're being promised something, and when you get there, you think, but it's all a lie. I don't like that. But the thing is, one thing I've noticed, I don't know whether you've noticed this, we keep going and talking to these physicists, which say 10, 20 years ago, you'd have gone, wow, isn't he intelligent? And now they've got nothing to say. They're not saying anything. They're not saying anything. So what does that say? I think that flat Earth is very intellectual. It's very deep. And actually, we're moving past some of these people and becoming the scientists and that ourselves. We've got brilliant people like Mr. Fry, Dave Marsh, Stan Smith. There's loads of people. I'm not meaning to leave anybody out. And we've got our beautiful chat room. We're all of these people in the chat room right now, very intelligent people. So we're moving past we can't, it's like baby stuff they're talking about.
I mean, you just have to let them talk about it. Just let them live, their lives, it's their choice, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably what it is that they have to go and live their life in that globe lie, and then the flat earthers will be living their life. Yeah, well, we're doing that anyway. Different vibrations and attract different people, and in the end, you kind of got to forget about them because you can't save everybody. Everybody's got to start saving themselves.
That is true. But one thing, but the thing is that there's a lot of truth seekers that are flat Earth, but they're religious or they're associated with the systems. I guess they're still playing the game, but they believe in the flat Earth. I guess it's just kind of strange.
Most of us have to live in the damn thing, don't we? But I mean, for me, I keep my cut. I just don't want that outside world in my world anymore. I'm getting quite introverted when I'm actually an extrovert. I don't want to be out. What of being out there? You can't talk to anybody. You mentioned flat Earth, they're going across at you. Yeah, it means that we're all trying to find each other on the internet instead, isn't it? Because we similar minds. And unfortunately, we're all over the place. We're all over the world.
Yeah. So like I said, it's. I think we should shift our attention away from adults and um, grown people, because when you're an adult, you have a fixed look at everything, right? So everything that you look at around the world is kind of.
One of the things that Patricia brought up was to have my story, to try and bring the community to ourselves, because that's what we're left with, is our community. So
Yeah.
this is part
Yeah.
one of my story. Mango has started it, although he didn't know, did you, this morning or this earlier on when we were speaking to each other?
No, I didn't.
That's the way that Patricia saw us, another way of us. We've had so many big YouTubers on the channel, but the people that are there are the chat room. So we just have to just building our own community.
But like I was saying, as an adult, you have, I guess, a fixed outlook of the world and what goes on. So it's going to be very difficult for an adult to embrace flat Earth if when you tell them that. But if you look at young people, and especially like children, it's better off to inform them about the flat Earth than anything else. Because some adults are just long gone. You've lost them. It's so deep in the matrix.
Yeah, I think that's true though. We're trying to get the adults. Maybe it's too late for some of the adults, but you're right. It's not too late for the children. We need to concentrate on the children.
Yeah, they're very open-minded.
And the children already know, hey, we're not moving. Children know a lot more. Unfortunately, it's all the globe and everybody looking at them, into them, that changes everything, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Because I see a lot of debates with physicists and non-flat earthers. I just look at it and I'm just like, I understand where you're coming from, and you're trying to inform the public, but it's just all that effort and energy, and these people are not going to change their mind. They've been trained to think a certain way, and it's gonna be very difficult.
But is that the joys of being like flat Earth? Like, you've got people like Roxanne Glenn, and you've got Globe Light Tour. You've got all those people who want to go out and go into the public. And I'm not sure if it's my arena, to be honest, to go to the public, because once they start messing around, I just think I can't handle it. I want the people who are awake. But we all have our part, don't we?
But it's also to do with our own personalities. So for me, for myself, before I got into flat Earth, like into flat Earth and chemtrails and etymology and all of that, I was open-minded. I didn't settle for anything, and I feel like it also comes down to the person, and their personality. I don't know about you, Karen, but are you an open-minded person?
Cool, yeah. You think you know everything, don't you? You do. You always think, I know everything there is to need to know. And then flat Earth hits you. But in that time, when I've even thought, oh, well, it's this way, you've had hangout upon hangout with people, and I thought, God, it isn't even the way I thought it was. It's worse. It's much worse than I thought. So yeah, we as a channel, me and Patricia, especially as we talk to many different people, religious people, not religious. We have to keep our mind open. Personally, we're not usually, Sun and Moon isn't here to. We're trying to let the people talk rather than it all being all our own. What do you call it? Opinion. So we don't have an opinion like that. I mean, I am talking to you today, but try not to have an opinion, because this is the platform for the people. So we have to remain open-minded. Otherwise, I'd be going, no, you're no good, get off. Who wants to listen to that? Who wants to listen to me being narky? I don't like this person, get them off. We remain quite quiet, me and Patricia, about our views, really.
but it's just, you know, you see everyone with their theories, and you know they take it so seriously, and they believe in their theories, and they think it's the
But those
truth.
that have really woken up, well, none of that bothers you. It's not thinking, oh, I've got to beat that person, or I've got to get one over on that person. I mean, me and Patricia never even enters our mind. I talked to Mr. Fryman's wife, never enters our mind. Talk to Jin, who's in the chat room, never enters our mind. Never. So if you've got to be that way inclined, you're probably caught somewhere else, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've kind of been going for over an hour and a half now.
Oh wow, time flies when you're.
Do you think that's enough time for your story? I mean, it's nice to know that a young man like you has woken up, so that's really great. I didn't realise I thought you were 31. I thought you said you were 31,
No.
but 21. So he's a
Yeah.
really youngster. So yeah, and really good luck with what you're going to do at work or where you're working. You know, going to speak out in a few days' time.
Definitely. I mean, yeah.
And Patricia, do you have any... Oh, sorry, carry on, Mango. Sorry.
Yeah, I just hope I find, you know, some open-minded people, you know.
Well, I'll talk to Owen and get you hooked up with Owen, so don't worry about that. He's quite young still, so, and lives not probably very far from you, so I'll get you hooked up with him. And like I say,
it's just so hard to talk to Glowbird, you know, Glowbirders, you know.
yeah,
When
it
you
does
call them Glowbirds, you know, when you want to talk about Flat Earth, you know, it's just so hard.
Yeah, you want to talk about all these sort of very deep, meaningful things, even if you're going to talk about the stars or the moon, it's all still deep, isn't it? And no one else wants to know.
No, instead they're too busy about some match or some football game or something meaningless.
Yeah, I've been going around like Ellie's boyfriend's here right now. He really likes football. My sons were watching it. I was thinking,
That's
yeah,
it. You know, I used to love. You know, I used to be a Chelsea supporter, and it was just like a couple of years. You know, the thing was like a couple of years ago. I started to realize how just a waste of time that is. It's just it's meaningless. It doesn't. It's nothing. It's just a waste of time. You know? I mean, you're just watching a bunch of people kick around a ball all day. If you really think about it. But I mean, you know.
yeah, I know. Who created that? The Britain did, didn't it?
It's a form. I mean, there's so many people in one space, and they make them, you know, chat. You know,
Yeah, I remember watching one of the
crazy.
games with football where we were almost into the final with Germany. In fact, it happened 2 times in a row. And I remember I was drinking masses of wine, and then we missed on the penalty, and I felt really ill after that. I just felt really ill. But that's then, you know, I was watching and drinking and, yeah, into the stress, and we didn't win. We lost to Germany. I was so upset. But yeah, it's just still, well, anyway, we've moved on from then, and things mean different things nowadays. Everything's to do with money, though, isn't it? Or sex, actually. Money and sex is the globe world.
And drugs as well.
And drugs, yeah. Medication is still, isn't it? And that's the other thing as well, is these people who think, oh, well, say they have it in for people who smoke. But, like, yeah, they're actually every day taking all this medication. So who's the drug addict? It's a bit like, what? If only they realised.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone about it, and they were saying how, you know, oh, living to 80 is such a long time, and you know, and living to 80 is not a long time. It's really short.
Yeah,
You know,
my life's whizzing past right now. I can
if you
feel
really
it.
think about it, 80s, it's very young.
It's not very long. Time's getting
I've
faster.
heard,
The older I'm getting, it's just getting faster and faster. I don't know if you've noticed that yourself, but time's just getting faster.
because my mother was my dad was telling me that our great grandfather or something, he lived to like 400 years, and I was so surprised.
What?
I was like, yeah, our great grandfather lived to like 400 years,
Really?
and yeah, and these people were like they were Bedouins, so they would just herd camel all day, and they had long lives, really long lives. And I'm like, what? How? One of the things was they barely ate, so they barely ate at all. And I'm like, well, how did they get energy then to live that long? And I stumbled upon this channel called Alkalize to Realize, and they were talking about breatharian and using the sun as energy. I'm starting to think that's all possible. I feel like people can live as long as they want.
What? Because we're electric. We just need to plug into the sun. Everything's electric, isn't it?
Quite possibly, And I feel like food is just it's something that every time we eat, we lose 50 years or something.
Oh dear. I think also that bit as well is that they're always telling us about dying and stuff like that. So we're always listening to that rather than the fact that we just need to be more positive and keep living, We could then live much longer, but we're all listening and, and they tell people they're ill and those people usually die quicker because they've been told they're ill. Like you didn't tell them they were ill, well, how long would they last without knowing? Because once you get that turn off switch, like for instance, sorry, I don't mean probably, but
there's so many secrets that people don't know about.
Oh yeah,
Definitely, and I feel like the human potential is infinite. I don't think, there's only 80 years and that's it. That's a whole load of rubbish. I think people can live thousands of years. It's definitely possible. Absolutely. And if you look, actually, I've done research in religion as well. And if you look at the old prophets, they lived for hundreds and hundreds of years. They lived, I think, Moses, how many years did he live? Was it like 800 years or something like that? I'm not too sure, but he lived for years. So, if you think about it, it's possible. It's possible. But, and they tell us that, back then they only lived for 30 years. They had the plague and they all died. And they only lived for 30 years. That's not true.
Yeah, we got told that, didn't we? That they lived only till their mid-30s or something, because it was so the what do you call it? It was so harsh here.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it's just rubbish, isn't
it? Rubbish. I mean, there was I think an article I read of an Indian man in India. I think he died in the 1960s, and he lived for 200 something years. And there was a generation that I guess were witnesses, and they said that my great grandfather saw him when he was a boy. So there's proof right there. So I mean, it's possible. You can live as long as you want. It's all about just looking after yourself.
Yeah. It is. Well, it's you do hear, don't you, when people like have lost their partner or something, and then they give up, don't they? And they don't last much longer because obviously they don't want to be on their own. They choose to go. So maybe we can choose to stay if we want.
I think anything is possible. Impossible is just impossible. anything is possible. As a child, you've always wanted superpowers, and you watch, Superman flying, and you see all these superheroes with all these superpowers. You always wanted superpowers, but your parents or your teachers, they would always tell you, "Oh, that's made up. That's fairy tale. Or you're a human being. You don't have any powers. You only live up to 80." What you've done there is you just killed that child's, ability to conjure up, if you nurtured a child and you told it that you can do whatever you want, you can become a superhero, you can do this. In 20 years' time, he could be flying around, You just don't know.
Well, we probably should be there. In fact, with the way they made it sound we probably should have been to the moon. Remember, you're too young, but there was a program called Space 1999, and that was in the sort of 60s or 70s and 80s, I suppose. Space 1999. We never got there, though. Oh, dearie me.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mango, we're on later on as well, so we're kind of going to finish the hangout now. But I've really enjoyed meeting you. I'm glad that we managed to hook up with each other, and we were just speaking to each other, and then I just said, "Oh, let's go live," because Mango's been trying so much to get on our hangout, but obviously being 10 hours ahead, sometimes when we were talking, he was asleep, I was awake. But it's been a real pleasure talking to you, and I hope that you can come back on Sun and Moon.
Thank you, Karen.
Oh, no, thank you. Patricia, do you want to say anything?
Yeah. It's been fascinating listening to your story, Mango, and it's been nice meeting you. Yeah, there's lots of things, but yeah, it's just been great. Really enjoyed listening to it, and you brought up quite a few good points as well. The way I feel about certain things. I just wanted to add, think about a tortoise. It's supposed to hibernate, so I don't know, 6 months? It doesn't eat. So if a tortoise can do that, then we can. Just put that out there. We don't need food. We don't need a lot of food, I should say.
No, I think food is like a treat. I don't think it's like a treat. It's not necessary.
No.
I mean, what my dad was telling me was about how our great grandfathers were like living until 400, and these people were living in the desert, by the way, and they were herding camels, and they had no water and nothing, and they survived for hundreds of years. It just shows that you don't need food at all. You don't need food at all. In fact, you don't even need water, I don't think. It's just that we've taught our body.
Machine as it is. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to function right without my cup of tea in the morning. No, I have to tell you, I have to have that. I don't feel right if I go off to work without one of those.
Yeah, but Karen, I think it's because we train our bodies to, I guess, depend on food and depend on water.
Do you know what? The way you're sounding, it's making me believe that we're more like Blade Runners, to be honest. Do you remember that film? What's that film called? Yeah, Blade Runners. That's the film, isn't it? And but they only live for a few years, but they're like robots. But it's the same thing. They didn't need to eat and all these things. It's like, but it's the same. Oh my goodness.
It's exactly the same. I mean, I feel like we're just like computers and your iPad, You just plug it in. The sun is our, charger, and it'll charge us up. And
I mean, most of us flat earthers hardly sleep as well, so we don't really need sleep. We don't really need food. Golly. But anyway, listen, Mango, for the fourth time, we're going to end. See, we can carry on talking, but it's really great to know that, it's been a really nice hangout. I've really enjoyed it. This is Patricia's sort of baby, really, about my story. So, yeah. So thank you, Mango. Thank you very much, chat room. And we're back on later on with Wide Awake, and he's just put the time on 4 o'clock for him, 9 o'clock for us. So we're back on talking to Wide Awake in a little bit. But Mango, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, chat room. And this is our first My Story, Patricia.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone in the chat room. And Mango, I hope you take care and have a good day. What's left
Yeah,
of
he'll
it.
be coming back, won't he?
You too, Karen.
Anyway, Mango, we'll say goodbye off air, but we're going to say goodbye on air right now. So, to everybody, and be back on later. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love you.